the murky world of Meghan Markle. Hello, I'm HG Tudor. Over the last 18 hours or so, I've uploaded a selection of videos which are a slight deviation from the material that I ordinarily prepare for you. As you know, on the Ultra channel, I talk about narcissism and psychopathy with a particular emphasis on famous and infamous people, using them as examples to demonstrate where they are narcissists, where they might not be narcissists, demonstrating aspects of the narcissistic dynamic and narcissistic behavior using these famous examples so that you can understand why does that person behave the way that they do, and to provide you with real-life examples of narcissists, normals, narcissistic people and empaths to increase your understanding, because it's often easier to grasp the concepts when you have a real-life model in front of you. As you know, there are a lot of videos about this one's wife. This is because she provides so much content, and so many people remain interested in what she's doing. Therefore, it makes sense to continue to explain her behaviours, because I see in other places people still don't fully understand why she does as she does because of her narcissism. And it allows me to extend the reach of this channel by getting to more people through the use of this one's wife. Of course, other material is also provided to provide contrast also. Ordinarily, I will take an aspect of narcissism and explain how it's applicable to this one's wife, saying that we can understand why she behaves in the way that she does, even though we might not actually see it. For instance, I can explain to you how she treats Harry behind closed doors, even though we might not be furnished with the precise information. In other instances, I take news reports and video footage and photographs and decipher them for you, explaining why she's doing as she's doing because of her narcissism. But this time, I decided to take a slightly different route by utilizing various theories and views about this one's wife, all of which have the air of credibility because of the fact that they involved a narcissist. You ought to have examined each of the videos that I've put up in the last 18 hours. There was Meghan Markle, the controlled demolition of the monarchy, the way that certain interest groups have utilised this one's wife to further their own agendas, possibly narcissists using a narcissist, and how that narcissist pursuit of the prime aims in certain instances has aligned with the interests of other individuals who have recognised the problems that the monarchy are having, but still want to ensure that the power and interest groups remain. There's Meghan Markle and the US-backed royal destruction that posits the theory that the United States sees the soft power of the British royal family as an obstacle to world economic domination by the United States, and that there has been an orchestrated plot to utilise this one's wife as an agent to bring about the destruction of that monarchy. There's Wallis Simpson and Meghan Markle's destruction of the House of Windsor, a tale of two narcissists, how the frustration and the unrequited ambition of one has purportedly lived on in another. What MI5 knew about Meghan Markle, the risks posed by a narcissist and the intelligence gathering that went on in respect of how to deal with this narcissist and the flawed decision-making that occurred thereafter. Operation Winter Light, William and Kate's no contact. The fact that we know William and Kate, following expert advice, are aware as to what this one's wife is, and therefore what is it that they did in order to counter that. Operation Homecoming, extracting Prince Harry, an envisaged plan to enable the intimate partner primary source, the chief victim of the narcissist, to in effect be rescued and assimilated back into the royal family. Project Cayman. The detail that's known about this one's wife in relation to the fact that she's seen as an escort, as a yacht girl. And Operation Aurora, the plan to stop the Sussexes as a consequence of them having gone rogue. I provided you with 8 scenarios and theories, all of which are applicable to the existence of a narcissist, that the behaviors of the narcissist can be harnessed, that they might be utilized, that they need to be neutralized. And I therefore detailed these scenarios and theories in order to cause you to think, to consider the likelihood of these being accurate, to go to the evidence, as you know, both in the understanding of material about this one's wife and also in dealing with the narcissist. I regularly preach to you that it is so important to go to the evidence, to utilize critical thinking based upon the evidence, and not to rely on simple speculation that has no realistic foundation. You know that in this information age, misinformation and disinformation is at an all-time high. We hear this one's wife and Harry talking about the need to ensure online safety, yet only to the extent that it benefits them. You, as discerning viewers, are well aware of those YouTubers that now readily peddle absolute bollocks in relation to this one's wife, making things up without admitting that's the case, engaging in total speculation but portraying it as hard fact, that as there are more and more people milking the lol cow that is this one's wife, that the battle for views is at an all-time high. Add in some degree of Sussex fatigue, and it means that certain YouTubers really have to try and invent stuff to try and retain an interest because they have no other angles available to them. You know who the worst offenders are in that respect. I see the names regularly mentioned by you. And it is important to ignore what is spouted by these individuals, or at least recognize that what is said doesn't have any foundation in truth, to avoid giving a free shot on goal to Harry and this one's wife. But the purpose of those scenarios and theories that have I advanced was to make you think, to make you consider the evidence, to also consider how in each instance they revolve around the existence of a narcissist. But also for you to consider this: one of them is accurate. Which one do you think it is? I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.